What if Deku was a villain? Part 2. So basically, I want to thank you guys, before I do get into the video, for 100 subscribers. And the next goal is probably 200 subscribers. But I'd just like to thank you. And if you guys have any subscriber special ideas or whatever, like maybe an extra long video or something, like please comment them down below. So let's get into this what if. So where I left off, Deku saved Uraraka, got into 1A, and they're in class now. So what I just want to say is that Deku doesn't have air manipulation. He has wind manipulation, which is basically air manipulation, but how he's using the force to pick people up is like the wind. Well, he has air manipulation basically, like the force and stuff, so he can lift people up like telepathically. So it's a telepathic thing. He has two quirks, basically what I'm saying. He has the wind quirk, and he also has the telepathic quirk that he unlocked that allows him to pick things up with his hands and stuff, which isn't air, I'm saying, but like it's like basically the force from Star Wars, like I said last time, which that's why he can actually explode people's heads when he like wants to. Like if he just has a lot of emotion towards this one person and just wants them dead, he can say, "I want you to die," in his head, and then he can trigger his quirk, and their head will just like, they'll start going crazy, and they'll just die. So he gets into 1A, and he hasn't even unlocked his wind abilities yet. So what I'm saying is, basically, he doesn't have his wind abilities. So back to the ball throw and stuff. So Deku, he does okay. I mean, it's not like he did as good as Bakugo. Like, Deku might get maybe 300 meters or something just because he can't, like, really push it that far. I mean, he can use the force to throw it pretty far, but I mean, like, he can't really do it that well. So he ends up getting first in most of the things, like the side-to-side jumping and stuff, because, like, he can kind of fly, but not really. But, yeah, he basically does pretty well on it. He ends up getting maybe, like, 5th or 6th. Not first, but he gets pretty good. And, like, Bakugo's just kind of pissed off that Deku ran away when he was 6 years old, now showing up with a quirk, even though he was quirkless. So Bakugo just runs up to Deku and says, "You bastard, how'd you get a quirk? I thought you were quirkless." And then Deku says, "I unlocked my quirk. I just had to go through something traumatic, like my mom died." And Bakugo's like shocked, like, oh, he was there. That's how he unlocked his quirk. And like still nobody actually knows that he killed all those heroes and the villain. So nobody knows that. So now something all of you guys have been waiting for. Hero versus villains. I have completely skipped over hero versus villains for my 2 what ifs, and not this one. I won't skip over it again. So, hero versus villains, it is now, on the other hand, it's actually Deku and Uraraka against Ida and Bakugo, but this time Deku and Uraraka are the villains. So giving like it a little twist. So they're the villains now. And Deku knows that Bakugo is just gonna straight up run right into battle. Basically, he knows he's gonna run right in. And Ida's just gonna be like, "Oh, stupid Bakugo." He knows something bad's gonna happen. So Bakugo just runs right in, and Deku's like, "Oh wow, I knew this was gonna happen." And so Deku just runs over, and so Bakugo runs in, and Deku sees this and tries to stop him, because Deku's all the way down on the first floor trying to hold back Ida and Bakugo, while Uraraka's like trying to she's basically destroying things so that it's harder for them to move around. And since Uraraka and Deku can float using her quirk, Bakugo rushes in, and he's like, "Deku, I'm coming to kill you." And like Bakugo doesn't know this, but Deku just, like, he's speaking. So Deku just randomly says, "You're not acting like much of a villain, are you? Or you're not acting like much of a hero, are you, Kacchan? You're acting like a villain." And then Bakugo's just like, "Shut up!" as he goes in for a punch. And Deku gets hit by this and just goes flying into a wall. He stands up and like, "Wow, that hurt a little. Guess I should try and kill you then, since I'm being a villain." And Deku just runs at him. And then Bakugo is like, he has enough sweat in his gauntlet to fire it. And All Might says, "Don't do it, young Bakugo. You're going to kill him." And Bakugo's like, "I don't care." And he uses it, and it hits Izuku straight on. And Izuku, just everything goes black, and he wakes up in this black room, basically. And he's looking around, and there's just this guy wearing, well, no, he just hears somebody saying, "You need to unlock your full potential. You need to use your second quirk." And Deku's like, "Second quirk, what?" And that's when Deku wakes back up to see a tornado that blocked Bakugo's attack. And Bakugo just like stumbles backwards like, "Deku, what was that? Since when do you have the powers to control wind?" And Deku's like, "I don't know, I guess since now." And like everyone's just shocked by this and like, did Deku just unlock another quirk? Does Deku's quirk unlock things or something? Like everyone's confused because they just thought he had like some air manipulation quirk. So then Deku, like, he summons a tornado on his shoulder that rolls down his arm and then jets straight towards Bakugo, getting bigger. It just becomes huge as soon as it leaves Deku's arm and just goes straight for Bakugo. And Bakugo's like, What is that?" And Bakugo's sent flying out of the building and is rammed into multiple buildings. Because Bakugo was not expecting this at all. So Bakugo was passed out, like, let's say a quarter of a mile the other way, and like Ida was just staring at that, and he says, "You won't be able to defeat me that easily now that I know what you're going to do." And then like Deku, he has some control over the wind, and he just shoots the wind right up, and then just hits. Well, he just slaps Ida right in the neck. In one of his can't really forgot the name, but he just like slaps his neck and making Ida pass right out. And All Might shouts, "Villain team wins!" And Deku's like, "All right." And like Uraraka was like, "Well, I guess I didn't have to do very much." And like All Might's kind of mad at Izuku for doing all the work, but on the other hand, he was also kind of happy that Deku actually made up a plan if they got past him, so they wouldn't be able to move around that much, because Urarako's building a wall out of just a ton of bricks. So if Bakugo was just to slam all of the things, it'd just go everywhere, and if it hit the bomb, it could have exploded. So, like, that was also... So, she was actually kind of smiling at that, like, they were just happy and stuff. So, after that, we see... So, basically, all of that passes. Who cares? Now, on to the USJ. The USJ So, the USJ happens. I'm kind of lost for words right now, but, like, the USJ is just completely chaos. They arrive at the USJ. So Aizawa turns around to see a black portal coming there, and a black portal behind Deku. And Mr. Aizawa was like, Deku, watch out! But before that could happen, Shigaraki grabs Deku's neck and takes him in, and then comes out right next to the Nomu, and Deku just looks completely terrified, because, well, he was, like, acting to look terrified for, like, 2 weeks, just because he knew about the USJ and stuff, so he had to act terrified. So he was practicing that, and he looks completely terrified about what's going to happen, and Deku's, like, shooting off a bunch of wind tornadoes, and then Shigaraki's like, whispers in his ear, kid, what are you doing? This isn't part of the plan. And then Deku's like, I can't control it. Well, Deku just yells out, I can't control my wind. And then everything, and, like, the ground basically starts to shake, and the wind goes completely crazy. There's tons of tornadoes going around the entire USJ, just killing all of the villains as Deku is, like, on the ground, just almost passed out, and, like, the wind's basically taking over his body. And the wind's completely surrounding Deku, while, like, he just keeps pointing to different locations as the tornadoes go there and kill all the villains. And, like, some of Class 1A's swept in, like Mineta and Suyu get swept in, but, like, they're able to escape. And, like, Mr. Aizawa was just barely, like, able to erase Deku's cork, and Deku just passes out from that, and Shigaraki just looks really pissed, and he's like, now you've made me mad, as he turns around and just chucks Deku into one of the portals. And, like, Mr. Aizawa was just really pissed at this, because he's like, damn it, you just had to take one of my students. So he goes rushing in, and, like, Deku's at the bar, basically. And Deku is passed out, and he's in his thoughts, like, what the heck? And then he just sees a wind spirit, basically. That's what I'm calling it. So, and he's like, who are you? And the wind spirit's like, oh, I'm the wind spirit. You lost control of the wind because you were completely terrified of what was going to happen. And he's like, no, but I was acting. And it's like, no, you were terrified of what the heroes were going to think of you if they found out. And Deku's just like, damn it, how could I let the wind control me? And that's when Deku just wakes up, and he's just sweating like, what the hell was that? And he's in the bar like, damn it. And so the USJ passes, Deku's being captured. Everyone is just completely mad, and they're just crushed by this. Because Deku was, like, their most confident person in the class. He was respected by so many people, as he beat Bakugo so easily, and that much power and wind, like, completely destroyed the USJ and all the villains. But, like, when the heroes were walking into the USJ, they found corpses hanging from the ceiling. They found tons of villain corpses. And they asked Mr. Aizawa what happened. And they're like, the kid lost control of his cork, and it killed so many people. And then they're like, we need to train him we need to teach him how to use his cork properly, or else he's going to end up killing thousands of people. Could easily be used as a villain cork. And, like, they all agree to, like, give him special training. And so, basically, they're trying to find out how to get Deku back. And the one who is most devastated by Deku's disappearance is Uraraka, because she loves Deku, basically. So since she loves Deku, like, each day after school, she goes out looking for him. And, like, Deku actually knows about this because he watches her. And one day, like, Deku actually... So she's walking in a back alley looking for, like, suspicious places Deku could have been brought to. And that's when a cloaked figure jumps down, which is Deku. But he says, come with me and your precious Deku. You can come with me and you'll see your precious Deku again. And Uraraka is just like, okay, fine. So she walks in and she sees a bunch of villains. And she's like, wait, who are you guys? And then they say, we're villains. And we heard that you want your love, you want Deku. We heard you wanted to be with Deku. And she's like, yeah, but where is he? And, like, Deku is just, like, Deku is basically just, he's there, cloaked in a robe, with a mask on, basically. And, like, they'll tell them that Deku's here, and if you want to be with Deku again, you'll have to join them. And, or else, like, and Uraka completely thought that she was going to hurt Deku if she didn't join them. So she says, fine, I'll join you. And so she's just a lot like, okay. Hey, so I'm joining the villains to be with Deku. Okay, this is fine. Like, she's kind of just worried about Deku. And then Deku reveals himself and says, oh, Uraka, I see you finally joined the League. And Uraka's kind of shocked by this, and she asked, wait, were you a villain? And Deku says, yes. And he just explains what happened. When he was 6, a villain killed his mom. The heroes didn't do anything about it. They didn't even try and protect him. And the villain told them that he was going to kill Deku if the heroes came forward. So they didn't do anything. And Deku just asked. And Deku basically said that his quirk, he unlocked it and all of the heroes had their heads explode. Same with the villain. And like, Uraka actually read about this when she was, like, 10 years old, and she was like, wait, that attack was you? And basically Deku just nodded. And then Deku says, if you ever betray us, I'll have no use but to kill you, basically, as he reveals a wind scythe that he just learned how to use. So if he has a metal rod, and he cloaks it in wind, and it forms a scythe, basically. So he has a wind scythe. And he actually gets the nickname the Grim Reaper because of the scythe. So now his villain name is the Grim Reaper. Just saying that. So Uraka's like, fine, I'll always be with you, Deku, no matter if you're a hero or a villain. And then Deku said, you know we're going to go back to UA, right? And, like, she's kind of shocked at this. And then he tells Uraka to tell nobody about this, as they're now going to be traitors of UA. And Uraka said, okay, fine. And so now Uraka is the second traitor of UA. So she's kind of scared of this, but she's just like, well, as long as I'm with Deku, I'll be fine. So they're basically dating now, since Uraka joined the League of Villains. They're dating now, basically. So, like, and then they had a week off. They come back to school. Mr. Aizawa says, sports festival, 2 weeks. So, Deku, like, Uraka doesn't know what to do since she has to go back to the villain lair. So Deku basically just grabs her hand, picks her up, and basically just flies her over. I mean, he can't really fly, but he basically uses his wind manipulation to make him get there faster. So he uses that, and Uraka is basically blushing like crazy. Deku kicks the door down and puts Uraka down, and basically says, okay, Uraka, we have to train. So they did that, and now it's 2 weeks have passed, and it's the sports festival. I'm going to do that in the next part, guys. Hope you did enjoy this video. I know it was kind of long, but this is not the 100 subs special. The 100 sub special will probably be, if you guys want it to be, part 10 of What If Deku Was a Legendary Super Saiyan, or a longer part of either What If Deku Was a Villain or What If Deku Had Goku Black's powers. So make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe, and please give me suggestions down in the comment section below. See you guys. Bye.